Hey guys, welcome back. Something a little different again, another tutorial. So this is a tutorial that I have been asked for. So it's not a tutorial, it's more of an information video. So I get asked all the time. Obviously everyone thinks I'm a very good drifter. I, I've I've become I can drift, if that helps. Uh, but I wouldn't say I'm really good. I mean, there's some phenomenal drifters out there on wheels, controllers, whatever, But I enjoy it. I can get the car sideways for a good distance, and that does me. So I suppose I can drift. But Forza for me is a learning curve. I came from a set of Corsa, very, very difficult. Got consistent at it. I wouldn't say again good, but I can left foot brake. I can tandem with people. And I came to this a nightmare, like completely different, obviously. One of the main mistakes I made to start with was I had simulation Steven turned on, and for some reason we drifted. It feels shit. So we'll run through some settings, run through what I run. So I run 900 degrees on the wheel. A lot of people have this weird thing about Forza because the wheel only turns to 90 degrees in the cockpit. People actually think that's it. You can only turn the wheel that far. That's not true. It does have 900 degrees. So if we go on that and have a look there, so that's the 90 degrees that it does. And obviously, hang on. Yeah, so that's the. I can't do both. Hang on, I've got an issue here. Right, why can't I do both? Can I use the mouse and look around? What's happening here? There you go. That works. So that's the 90 there. So can you see the wheels turning there? So that's 90 degrees. But obviously, as you can clearly see, it goes a lot further than 90. So 900 degrees, Stephen. So that's the 90 that it turns in the cockpit. You can just about see a hand stop and look. So hands are stopped, and then obviously full lock. So 900 degrees does work. So that myth of the cockpit, it doesn't work, it does work. So get that out your brain. Next one, we'll run through my settings, which everyone thinks I have some sort of magical settings. Bog standard, never touch them. Like, this is why this is a bit of a crap video. So difficulty settings, obviously ABS. I tend to have ABS on, but I've got it off because I left foot brake a lot. Steven, if you can do simulation, go for it. For drifting, for myself, I've found normal Steven better. Traction control off, obviously. Stability control off, obviously. Manual clutch, I personally don't know how people drift without the clutch. Obviously, it's just left foot brake and a lot of handbrake, but personally, I try to use handbrake as little as possible. Clutch kick and left foot brake, and you can drift for a good amount of time. So I have obviously clutch on, driving line off, no tyre wear or damage at the moment because obviously this is a testing video as you say. So that's what my settings are. Very, very simple. Going through my wheel settings, which again people think I have magical wheel settings, which I don't. So we're going to go to hang on, where we are here. So we're going to go to advanced. Here we go. So we've got vibration.
Something's not right. Wait a few minutes and try setting up again.
Who's she
You can
talking to?
also try unplugging this device and plugging it back in.
I'm going to unplug you completely in a minute. Right, so we've got switch gear up and down, that's turned off. Switch e-brake and clutch off, obviously. Switch look back camera off, invert off, it's just all the normal shit. We've then got our steering access. Again, I've never changed this, so 10, 100, no idea what any of this means. 50 on the linearity, again, never touched it. Acceleration and all that dead zone, inside dead zones, again, never touched it. Like, literally, never touched it. So, all of this is just standard. So, obviously pause the video, check your settings to mine, but I've never touched the settings, so this is what I just got used to. I do adjust wheel settings on my wheel a little bit, so as you can see, it's completely bog standard. So on the other front, obviously we will take this M3 up this hill here for a quick drift, just to show you that I can drift with these settings. On the other front, obviously I have a Fanatec wheel, so you can't really adjust the settings on screen, so we adjust the settings in here. I'm just going to pull this out of here. The joys of being famous, man. You always get found famous. Lol. Right, so going forward, so we have sense on 900. I tend to run 900 or auto. The sense is what this is obviously the degrees of rotation. So we've then got FFB. I don't know what that kid's doing. Jesus. So yeah, then we've got force feedback. So obviously I run 85 at the moment with my hands being sore. Shot is on 100. I'm not 100% sure what SHO exactly does, but it's always been on 100 and never had an issue. ABS on 100 because we have vibration motors in our pedals, therefore you need to have it on 100. Drift mode, don't use it. Force is on 100. Spring is on 50. I tend to go between 0 and 50 depending on the games I'm in. Some games require spring. They need the spring to give you a bit of spring back. So they need that. We've got dampener, which I don't run any dampener. Brake force, which I run on 50, so that's my load cell on my brake pedal. And then we've got the force overdrive motor or some shite, I can't think what it's called. Basically gives you power to the wheel. It's on 100. So that's it. That's my settings. That's what I run. So we'll take this up the hill here and show you that these settings do work. One of the biggest things, right, is I know people don't have a lot of time, right? I get it. I 100% get it. You come in from work, you've got 20 minutes to do a bit of drifting. I get it. The biggest thing I can say with drifting, forget settings. So this car completely, it's fully upgraded, but nothing else. It's got no custom setup on it. It's got nothing. So I don't use anything like that. So it's just give it a clutch kick, give it a bit of a drift. You know, it's completely a knack thing. You know, the handbrake works if you've entered a corner incorrectly, like myself. So it's purely just left foot brake, clutch kicking, and generally it's just learning. That's it. It's literally just learning. So all I can say is if you can't do it, don't mess about with your settings too much. Pick a car, pick your settings you want, and just leave it alone. Is the best thing I can say. Obviously your wheel settings in your config file do help. Obviously if you're running 0 center spring, which oh my bad, if you're running 0 center spring, which a lot of people do, obviously Forza requires a bit of center spring, so your wheel won't react. You won't have any self-steer, which obviously real drift cars need self-steer, hence angle kits and all that stuff. But as I say, it's purely just a knack, you know, it's just getting used to it. Again, I came from a set of Corsa, absolutely rock hard game to learn to drift on, especially if you want to drift with your friends and that. It's a very difficult game to drift on. This is obviously more laid back, more arcade based, you know. So again, big power cars, wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend picking a very you know, 400-500 horsepower car. Put the angle kit on it because the angle kit does help, so the drift suspension does help. But other than that, it's purely just a knack of throwing the wheel in, knowing where the wheel needs to go. Some cars drift better than others. This isn't my favourite car, like, but just a car that I was in, so I thought I would use it to demonstrate. But as you can see, it's a lot of clutch, left foot braking. It really does help. So I'll leave it there. I'll maybe try and do a little bit of a drift tutorial at some point, you know, if that'll help you guys a bit more. But as I say, a lot of people ask what settings do I use, thinking it's some sort of magical settings. It's purely just learning. It's just seat time. At one point I just drove into everything. I was terrible, especially when I first started. I was terrible. So just pick a certain setting on your wheel, leave it alone, and just get used to it. I could put my wheel on any setting now and probably get around. The only thing I recommend is, as I say, you do need a little bit of centre spring. I've tried it with 0. It does work, but you've got to do a lot of flicking, and there's no self-steer. And if you watch some in-car footage of real drifting, or you've been real drifting, you'll notice as soon as you put the car sideways with a good clutch kick, the wheel rips out your hand. Or, you know, on an angled car. So at the end of the day, you need a bit of self-steer, that's just drifting. So make sure you got a little bit of centre spring. Sim racing, we all tend to turn dampener, centre spring off, but you need it. So anyway, I'll catch you later. Any questions, fire them in the comments. I've answered all the questions from the wheel point of view. If there's anything else, setups, roads to use, where do you learn, what's a bit. If you want a tutorial on how to learn, I could maybe try and give you some sort of tutorial, but I use the foot cam on that and kind of show you a little bit. But again, I'm not the best, but I can at least show you how to get started. But my biggest recommendation is leave your settings alone. Don't mess about with the car all the time. Pick a car, just stick with that car and just learn. Pick a road, 2 corners, get the first corner perfectly, get round the corner, exit it nicely, and that's it. And then eventually you'll go out of that corner and learn the transition. But people are trying to learn the transition when they can't even get round the corner and straighten up. So enter a corner, sideways, drift around it, and then that's it. That's what I recommend. So anyway, I'll catch up with you all later. Have a good day and take care. Don't forget, drop a comment if you've got any questions.